Indonesian cops massively screw up while disposing illegal fireworks. Now this is a moment of genuine, perfect irony. Police in central Java, Indonesia were disposing of a massive cache of illegal fireworks. Get this, as a message to the public about the dangers of fireworks, when they accidentally set fire to or otherwise damaged 56 houses. Go! Authorities had seized a whopping 287 kilos of fireworks powder and 14,500 separate items in a raid on an illegal factory that also netted 24 suspects. Then, just after 10 p.m. on June 19th, officers ignited the pile of explosives, so as to eliminate any danger to the public. Oh, what a botch. Video shows the explosion create a plume of white smoke. And as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And boy, did fire come. According to Tribata News, police first emptied the powder from containers into a loose pile on the ground, somehow thinking this would reduce the intensity of the blast. They clearly miscalculated. Reports say residents within a 3-kilometer radius felt the bomb-like explosion. "56 homes were damaged, some quite badly. One woman was hospitalized for shock, but no one, surprisingly and very luckily, was harmed in the mishap. Humiliated police apologized to residents and promised the department would pay for the damage caused by their incompetence. Well, at least the cops learned something about fireworks safety. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Here are some more cops that aren't exactly the sharpest tools in the shed.
Less than competent cops catch incompetent crooks. Early Sunday morning this week, this car drove past the police checkpoint on the highway in Taiwan, and a high-speed chase ensued. The suspects pulled into this residential area, where the police leave their vehicle in an attempt to stop them. Despite having guns pointed at them, the crooks continue to make an inept three-point turn. Or are they trying to run over a police officer? The 2 police officers decided to shoot out the tires of the car, but after firing 4 shots, the tires were still intact. But the body of the car had suffered some damage. Eventually, this strange circus ended and both criminals were pulled from the car. Police discovered drugs and other illegal paraphernalia in the car. The driver of the car can be heard bemoaning the fact that his mother is going to kill him because the car is hers. So, jail might be a safe place for him, at least until Mama's temper cools down.
Man beaten unconscious by cops in case of mistaken identity. A Michigan man has filed a federal lawsuit after 2 law enforcement officials beat him unconscious in a case of mistaken identity from 2 years ago. James King was walking to his summer job in July of 2014 when FBI agents Douglas Brownback and Grand Rapids detective Todd Allen approached him. They thought the 23-year-old matched a vague description of another suspect. The lawsuit alleges they were operating undercover and didn't identify themselves as law enforcement at the time. King didn't notice their badges on lanyards. He thought he was being mugged when Brownback took his wallet, so he tried to flee. The 2 officers reportedly tackled him to the ground. Allen then allegedly put King in a chokehold that made him unconscious. The lawsuit alleges that King soon woke up and reportedly bit Allen's arm. It's here that the detective reportedly says he started hitting Allen as fast and as hard as he could as many times as he could. Concerned bypassers called 911. The responding officers allegedly convinced witnesses to delete footage of the beatdown from their phones because undercover cops were present. The cops later said they'd arrested King because he had no ID on him at the time. The guy they were after, home invasion suspect Aaron Davison, was eventually caught, albeit less black and blue. So, the cops and feds apologised over this case of mistaken identity, right? No. They slapped King with 3 felonies, though a jury later cleared him of those charges after a prolonged legal battle. And now the authorities have got a lawsuit filled with damning allegations on their hands. Seems to us that this mess could have been avoided with a simple apology from the cops. Agree?
The moment a clumsy cop shoots himself in an elevator. Daryl Jewett, a 25-year-old veteran of the Erlanger, Ohio Police Department, injured himself with a handgun after a dinner date with his wife Friday night. For some reason, the off-duty officer draws his weapon while in the elevator with his wife. Jewett then has trouble reholstering the handgun, and the next thing he knows is he's caught lead. Now back this up. Let's try to figure out what happened. Jewett nails a couple of cop stereotypes here. A box of donuts in one hand and his gun in the other. The most likely scenario seems to be that Jewett was looking for the holster and accidentally discharged the firearm. The bullet entered straight into his belly, sending the officer to the floor. His wife immediately called 911 for help, but this isn't the only possibility for what happened. Cincinnati captain Michael John said the round ricocheted in the elevator before striking Jewett in the stomach. However, it's more likely that a hollow point bullet would have fragmented upon hitting the steel wall. So Jewett may have been struck by one of the ricocheting fragments. One last possibility that we haven't explored is that Jewett saw his own reflection. A black man with a gun and his police training took over from there. Did you just laugh at a man getting shot? Come on, guys.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Cop who held gun to man's head to impress his friends faces 45 years behind bars. A Maryland police officer who held a gun to a man's head and dared the terrified victim to fight him was, on Wednesday, convicted of first and second degree assault, misconduct in office, and the use of a firearm in the commission of a crime of violence. Gencheski Santiago is looking at up to 45 years in prison for his actions, which were condemned by the Prince George's County Police Department. Santiago had two friends from New Jersey in his police car at the time of the incident in May last year. Prosecutors argued in court that Santiago was trying to impress his pals, who were riding along with him unauthorized. The incident began when victim William Cunningham's cousin was dropping him off outside his house, and Santiago accused the men of parking illegally. After Santiago asked the men repeatedly what they were doing, Cunningham told the officer he would get out of the car and go into his house. That's when Cunningham's cousin began filming the evidence on his cell phone that would lead to Officer Santiago's conviction.
Get back over there. Video this, eh? He put his gun on my head. You're right. He put his gun on my head. Hey, Slim, get back in the car. Get back in the car now. I'm not going to tell you again. Get back in the car. Get back in the car. Get back in the car. Go ahead. I dare you to fight me, son. Get back in the car. Get back in the car.